have to collectively agree to ignore the little washi tape band-aid on my computer screen. There was an incident last week, and I simply do not have it in me to buy a new laptop right now. But it's kind of cute. It's like she's got a little sticker, so it's fine. Hello, you guys. It's Charlotte. Welcome back to the vlog. Today we have a very, very exciting, highly requested video that I am so jazzed to be filming. Welcome to my new and improved, updated 2025 Notion tour. If you guys have seen my 2025 reset vlog from the very beginning of the year, you know that I just recently updated all of my Notion spreads. They are all brand new, built from scratch, and I am so excited to finally be sharing them with you guys. I have been working on these literally since the beginning of the year, so it's been a solid 2+ months that I've been working on this, and my spreads are finally done, and the template versions are finally done as well. So all of the spreads that I show you guys in this video will also have a free download link in the description that you guys can use to download and customize for yourselves. I do have my old Notion templates available as well, but these are the new updated 2025 spreads. These have not been available. This is the first time that these are available in template form for you guys, and I've been working so hard to make them into templates for you, and now they're finally here, and I'm so excited to share them. If you're not using Notion, you are missing out. But don't worry, because that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna be showing you guys all of the spreads that I use to organize my entire life and everything in it. My spreads range from simple to a little bit more complex, so I would say these templates are perfect for people who have a little bit of Notion experience, you kind of know how the app works, all the way up to expert level Notion users. If you have never used Notion before, do not worry. I also have some of my older templates which are a little bit more beginner friendly. Those are the ones that I started with before I upgraded to the ones that I have now. So I've got something for everyone. Down in the description is where you'll find all of those links. Those are free to download. Just find the template you're looking for, go up to the top right corner and click duplicate, and it will make a copy into your own Notion account. And from there, you can completely customize all of these templates to be exactly how you want them to be. You guys will notice as we kind of go through my Notion tour that I kind of have customized some of the templates to be a little bit more personalized to me, but I don't want to yap your ears off before I even show you the spreads. So let's just jump right in to this video, and I'm going to take you guys through how I organize my entire life using Notion. As cute as she looks in the background, I am gonna grab my computer and we are going to actually use her. You guys, I love this computer so much, and I'm really scared that I'm gonna have to get a new one. So thoughts and prayers for the 2020 MacBook Pro, please. Now, let me start up my screen recording software. This always takes so long. I will be right back. All right, so let's kick this off with my Notion homepage. This was the main spread that I wanted to really revamp for 2025 and make it more functional and more useful for every day. I use Notion literally every single day of my life, no lie. So anyway, I really wanted to make sure that my homepage was super useful and super functional to get me wherever else I needed to go, to any of my other pages or to any of my other databases. But I also wanted it to be pretty and aesthetic, so this is where we landed. I am so happy with this page. Like I said, I built this from scratch at the beginning of the year, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I make all my covers on Canva. I just use photos that I find on Pinterest, and sometimes I'll add like header text, like on this one it just says 2025, but I just put them together collage style to kind of relate back to the page that they're on. Obviously, this is my dashboard, so I just use a couple photos from my 2025 vision board on here, and I just think it looks really fun. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what my goals are for the year, what I'm going for, like what my vision is for the year. So I've got some cutie covers on each of my pages, and I also have cute little icons that I try to make also match the content of the page. So if we scroll down a little bit, you can see here on the left, I've got this column that has a link to every other one of my Notion pages. This is sort of like the table of contents for all my other pages. The bulk of them are listed on the top under this header called Life Admin. These are basically all the pages that I use to organize my life in general. We've got like my finance tracker, my recipe book, my fitness planner, my 2025 yearly goals page, like pretty much anything that I would use to organize my life in general. All of those spreads are here under this little column. I also have a column underneath that's specifically for my content. I have one page that is specifically for my personal social media content planning, so that would be my YouTube channel, my personal Instagram, and my personal TikTok. Then I also have one underneath that is for my podcast. If you guys are new here or if you didn't know, I am launching a podcast next month. I am so excited. And obviously I do everything else in Notion, so I do that in Notion as well. And those are the two that are linked under the content header. So we're gonna be going through pretty much every single one of the pages that you see linked on the side. So grab a snack, grab a drink, we might be here for a while. I'm gonna try to go through each one of these pages efficiently and not get too caught up in like the minor details of every page, but I do also love these pages so much that I could yap about them forever. To the future me editing this video, good luck. Underneath that column with all of my other linked pages though, I just have this little photo. This is from my vision board. It's this little street sign that says, "Make it happen, girl." I don't know why, but when I was building my vision board for 2025 and looking for photos on Pinterest, this one just stood out to me and I love this photo so much. It's so motivational for me. It's so aesthetic and it's so cutie. So I just had that in there at the bottom underneath all of my other linked pages. On the other half of this screen, we have my admin calendar. This is like a mini version of my admin calendar. We will go through that calendar next. That'll be the next page that we go through. But basically this calendar is just like a big combination, like a mega calendar, if you will, that kind of combines some of my other spreads. So on here, this is where I'll have my content and when it's supposed to be posted or filmed, my bills and my subscriptions and when those are due. And even though I have that information in another place as well, like those are also on their own separate pages, I wanted to have it all in one place here so that I could just find it at a glance. I don't have to go to my finance tracker page just to see my bills and when they're due. I don't have to go to my content planner page to see when all my videos are going to be posted. I can see all of it together in one place right here. So again, this is like a mini version of my admin calendar and I do have a larger one that we'll go through in a minute. But since this is my homepage and like my dashboard, I wanted this to be available like immediately right off the bat when I first open Notion. This is what I see. If we scroll down underneath that is where I have my habit tracker. I have loved using this habit tracker digitally. I used to keep a habit tracker in my bullet journal, but then I would forget to do it and then I wouldn't actually know how much progress I made on any of my daily habits. So I have all my habits listed out and then each day of the week right in a row. Once I complete a habit, like say I close my exercise ring today, I just check this off and it fills in this little progress bar on the side. That progress bar tells me how many times I completed each habit in the week. So I reset this every week, just on Sundays, set it back to 0 and keep track throughout the week. And that little progress bar tells me how I'm doing on each habit, which habits I'm kind of slacking on, and which ones I'm doing really well at. And then beneath that, if we scroll down, this is kind of like the last section of my dashboard, my homepage. Over on the left side, we have the mobile wallpaper version size of my vision board. I do have a horizontal version I made as my laptop home screen, and then I have the vertical version that I used as my iPhone wallpaper. So I just took the vertical version and put that on here. This is sort of like my 2025 like new year reset portion of the homepage. On the other side at the top, I have a couple of pages that are linked again. So this is technically the second time they're linked on this like dashboard page, but it's okay. That links back to my 2025 rebrand and my 2025 goals. It has my word of the year, which is bright, and my little like remember quote that I love that says, "Discipline is hard, but so is dysregulation." And that is so true. So that's just sort of something that I set up at the beginning of the year that I wanted to have on here to carry with me throughout the entire year. Then underneath that is where we have my monthly goals. This gets updated every single month. Right now we currently have my March goals in there since we are in the month of March. If you guys want kind of a deeper dive into these goals, I did just post my March monthly reset about a week ago at the beginning of the month. So I will link that up in the card so you guys can go check that out when you're done with this video. But that is pretty much the rundown on my dashboard page. Again, this is one of the pages that I completely redid for the new year and I love it. It just is so much more functional than what I had before. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's still not like too in-depth and too intense, but it just feels so much more useful. Before, my dashboard was just kind of like, it was literally just the place where I had all my other pages linked, but I didn't actually do anything on here. Now this one is super interactive with the calendar and the habit tracker. I like it a lot better. But anyway, let's move on to some of my other pages. So like I said, we are gonna go first into my admin dashboard. That is a bit more of an in-depth version of the mini calendar that we talked about a few minutes ago. So these links here on the side that we talked about earlier are clickable. You can also access all of these pages over here on this little side menu. But here we are in the admin dashboard. This is also a new spread. I didn't have this at all in my previous Notion spreads, but I really, really like it. So here again, this is like the big calendar that has everything on it. Right now, it's just my personal content and my finances. When I set this up, I kind of planned for it to also have my meals on here. Like I do a lot of meal planning, which you guys will see when we go through my recipe book. But at some point I also want to add like my meals on here so I can really plan that out, but that's not like a huge priority for me right now. We're still kind of like figuring everything else out first. And once the podcast is launched, all of the podcast post dates will also go in on this calendar. So like I said, this is just a place where I can kind of see all of my separate calendars merged into one, and I don't have to go to the specific pages to see each of these tasks or each of these items. Like they're all just in one calendar together. And this is something new I wasn't able to do in the past because I used to set everything up on separate databases. So my content planner would be one database and my finance tracker would be a completely separate database. And the way that Notion works currently at the time that I'm filming this, I wasn't able to combine those two different databases. So what I did instead was create one giant database, and I called it my master database. And I put everything into that database and then filtered it by the different calendar that I wanted it to be for. Basically what that means is that all of my databases are connected so that I can have this giant master calendar now. What this master calendar can do is, say I want to go in and add a video. So let's add new video, and we will give it a fun little emoji so we know exactly what we're talking about. We'll do this one. I have a couple templates set up, so we'll set this up as a YouTube video, right? When I add this in here, this is the one that we just put in on my master calendar. This will also show up on my content planner. See? Right there. And it also works the same way backwards. If I wanted to add a video in my content planner page, let's do the same thing. We'll do YouTube video and we'll call this new video 2. There it is. We just added that in my content planner page. See, here we are. If we go back to that admin dashboard, it also shows up in the same spot. So I was not able to do this with my previous Notion spreads the way they were set up. So that's why it took me so long to make these templates, because I had to completely overhaul the way that my like back end of my Notion was set up. But now it finally works. And I think it's so helpful. It just makes it less likely that I'm gonna lose track of something, because if I put it in once, it's in there in all the different places that it needs to be. I'm gonna go in and delete these now just so I don't accidentally think that I was supposed to film a video that I completely forgot about. But I think that's really cool that the databases are connected. So it works the same way for my content planner, which is linked on here. My finance tracker is linked on here. These are like all of my different bills that I have. My podcast content is also gonna get linked on here. So I am really happy with this page. I probably think it's cooler than anyone else will, but it took a lot of time to put together and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. But that is pretty much the wrap on the admin dashboard page. Let's move on to the next page here in my list, which is my finance tracker. I'm actually showing you guys the template version of this finance tracker just because I don't really need to be showing my actual finances on screen. I put this finance tracker together. I will say this is one of those spreads that gets a little bit on the complicated side. Once you understand how it works really well, and it kind of like functions by itself once you kind of know what you're doing, because there's so much auto calculation in here that you are kind of like, you put in a lot of work on the front end to make sure you understand how it works, but then in the back end you don't have to worry about it at all. You basically just need to put in your income and your withdrawals and it will auto calculate everything for you. I also love this finance tracker because for me it's a good way to kind of double check and make sure that all of the transactions that are being posted on my bank accounts are ones that I have made and there's no like suspicious activity. So up here at the top we have the balance calculator. The only thing that you need to do in this balance calculator is put in your starting balance of your bank accounts for every month. And there are a couple different views for this one. So this view that says totals is for all of your bank accounts together, or if you only have one bank account. But then you can also separate it. Say you have one bank account for checking and one bank account for savings. You can actually split them up however you want, and those are already included in the template for you. All you need to do is input your starting balance, whether it's the starting balance for a specific bank account or the starting balance for all of your bank accounts combined. It's up to you how you want to do it. So basically all you do is manually enter your starting balance at the beginning of the month, and then your income and expenses will be auto tallied as you fill in these two databases down here. your income and your expenses, obviously. And then at the end of the month, your ending balance will also be auto-calculated by adding your income and subtracting your expenses from your starting balance to get you your ending balance. So it's a pretty simple calculator, but it works fairly well. This is one spread where it works a little bit better for me to just show you guys how it works instead of trying to explain it. So let's just do a quick example. Let's say you started with $100. That is the only thing that you need to manually input in this balance calculator. So right now it's showing up as your starting balance is $100. Because we haven't put anything in, your income and expenses are both at $0, so your ending balance is still $100. Let's say we go down here and we enter some income. So let's say you got paid. So let's do a paycheck. And let's say you got paid $250. You can enter the date that that was deposited. If you want to, you can add a tag. Say you have multiple sources of income, you can tag these as, like, for me, I make income from my corporate job and from YouTube, so I would tag those as separate things. If you want to, that's just kind of me being a little bit, you know, over the top. If there are any notes that you need to make, you can write those down here. These are set up to already be tallied for the month that aligns with this little view up on the top. So if you're in the January tab of this income database, all of these entries will automatically get tagged as the month of January. If you have separate accounts, like I do, I've got a couple separate accounts, you can actually tag which account. So let's say it was in your checking account. Then over here, this little to calculator column is the part that actually makes it go to your balance calculator. This is the part where it gets a little bit confusing, but stick with me here. The way that I have set this up is with emojis. You guys will know, you'll recognize that I organize everything with emojis. I find them very helpful for organization. So you'll notice this little to calculator column has January with the little clinking glasses emoji. That basically means that it is going to link to this balance calculator, this little tab right here with the same matching emoji. So you can see we put in a paycheck for $250 and it automatically linked up here, income $250. Let's say you got another one, let's do paycheck 2, and let's say that was $75. Let's say that was from a different source of income. You would put in the date, tag it if you want to, any notes. Let's say this went to your savings account, okay? Over here on this to calculator, it's still going to the total for January, which is all of your accounts together. That's what this little clinking glass emoji means. So you can see income automatically updated and now your ending balance also automatically updated. If you wanted to split this up by separate account, you can do that. I have set this template up to make sure that you guys can do that. All you need to do is go into this to calculator, click on it, and then type in the page that you want it to be. So this first one was a paycheck from January that went into your checking account. So you search January and see how these little emojis pop up down here. Make sure it matches to the type of account. So your checking account has this little money with the wings emoji. So you click on that. It will also go into your checking account balance calculator over here. See how that 250 showed up there too? Let's go over, let's try it with savings. So if you go into your savings right now, it says 0 because there's nothing linked back to this balance calculator. If you wanted this income that went into your savings account to show up in that balance calculator, you do the same thing, type in the month, and you see this one has the little money bag emoji, which is the same as your savings emoji. Just click that little plus sign. It shows up there. And if we scroll back up, there's that $75. It gets auto-calculated into your balance calculator for your savings account. Again, that's a little bit complicated. I tried to make it as simple as possible so that you guys can understand it if you've never used a balance calculator the way that I do. I will link a tutorial in the description that is very, very helpful for understanding this finance tracker because I understand that it's a little bit complicated. If you don't need your finances to be as complicated as this, you don't need to use this tracker, but I like having my finances organized like this. It just makes sense to me. And I like that the auto calculator works so I don't have to manually like balance any of my checkbooks or anything like that. The same thing works for expenses. Expenses are a little bit less complicated, but it follows the same principle. So let's say you had rent, and we're living in some fantasy world where rent is only $50 a month. Wouldn't that be nice? In here, you can select the method. For ease, we'll just say that this was auto pay. You can insert the date that you paid it on, the category that it is. If you like to kind of categorize your spending to kind of keep track of a budget, that's what this category section is for. The month, right now we're in December. Okay. we should actually probably be in January. So let me go back and fix that. And again, this is already set so that every expense that you input on here, if you're on the January tab, will always show up as January. Even if you add new pages, they will always show up as January. So see, when I hit new page, this auto populates in here as January. That will always do that if you're on the correct tab up here. So same thing with February. If you add a new page in February, a new line will pop up with the February stuff already in there. So again, if it has the fun little emojis, that means it's going to this totals page. See, there's our 50. This ending balance turns out to 375 because it calculates all the 3 previous numbers together. If you wanted, again, this number to show up specifically on your checking or your savings accounts, you would do the same thing. You go into your to calculator, click on it, search the month that you're looking for, find the emoji that matches up with either your checking or your savings. Let's say that this goes into your checking account because, right, it has the money with wings. Link that page. There you go. It will still show up on this totals page, but if you go into your checking, it will also show up there. So that is as brief of a rundown as I can give for the finance tracker while also explaining how it works. If you guys want a more in-depth tutorial on this finance tracker or any of the other pages that I have, let me know down in the description, but I don't want this Notion tour to be like too in-depth. So we're gonna move on, even though I love this finance tracker so dearly. We're skipping a couple pages because they have sensitive information on them. I do have a spread for passwords if you wanted to keep all your passwords safe, and I have another one for my work priorities, but again, that actually has information about my job on there, and that's not public information. So we're skipping over those pages and we're going into my recipe book. This is where I keep all of my recipes. Obviously, it's like a digital cookbook of all of the recipes that I love. I actually have a little series here on YouTube called Chefing with Charlotte, where I try a lot of the recipes on here. One of my goals for the year is to try at least 1 new recipe every month. So I love just adding new recipes that I try on here. Also a great place to have all of them because I have it set up where you can kind of see a thumbnail of what each thing looks like, which just makes it a little bit more enticing than like just having a bookmarked folder of like all of the recipes on Google Chrome or something. So I love this recipe book. Again, I use this pretty much every day. Like anytime I'm going to cook something, this is where I go first, because I will also add recipes on here that I haven't tried yet. I find a lot of my recipes on Instagram. So if I find something that I know I'm gonna wanna try, I'll add it on here anyway. If you click on any of these, I also have a couple of other pieces of information. Obviously we have the title, I'll have a link to the recipe, about how much time it takes, the difficulty, what type of meal it would be, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then down here, I'll usually just copy and paste the ingredients list. And then sometimes I'll also add the instructions. Let me see if I can find one with instructions. So this one is Italian sausage rigatoni pasta. We've got the link to the Instagram reel where I found it. It takes about 20 minutes. It's not very difficult, and this is a good dinner recipe. If we scroll down here, you can see the list of ingredients that you would need. I have this space for materials, like the types of pots and pans that you would need, but most of the time I don't fill that in. And then down at the bottom, we've got the instructions. I usually just transcribe these from the video or from the website where I find the recipe, just so that I don't have to keep playing the video over and over and over again as I'm trying to cook the recipe. But I love this page. It's one of my favorites. I use it all the time, and it just makes me so happy because I used to not cook hardly at all. And since I moved out and since I've been living alone, I have been doing a lot more cooking, and I just am really proud of myself for that. And this page definitely helps with that for sure. Okay, next let's move on to my fitness planner. This is another brand new spread for 2025. One of my daily habits is to move my body in the mornings, and one of my yearly goals is to get some form of daily movement every day. So this fitness planner is another database where I keep track of all of the videos that I find on YouTube that I love. I have them categorized by different types of movement. All the ones showing right now are all mobility, but we've also got Pilates and yoga videos in here as well. And I just add to this as I find different workout videos that I enjoy. This spread makes me really happy. I'm trying to like get back into fitness in 2025. It's something that I kind of like didn't really worry that much about in 2024, and something that I'm trying to spend more time thinking about in 2025. So this spread is just really helpful. It makes it kind of fun, makes it pretty. I've got this little quote at the top that says, "Follow your plan, not your mood." And then this little like inspirational, motivational picture over here. So I will definitely be be adding more videos to this list as the year goes on, but these are just some of my favorites that I've found so far. And obviously we have the little sneaker as the icon for this page. Next up, lastly, for my kind of like life admin section of spreads is my 2025 goals page. I worked so hard on this page, you guys, and this was another one that I completely revamped, and I'm very, very happy with the way it turned out. So we've got this cutie little banner up at the top. We've got this little quote that says, "I am becoming the best version of myself," and underneath we have all of my goals for 2025. I set 25 goals for 2025. If you guys want to see the process of me setting all of these goals, it's included in my 2025 reset vlog. I will also link that in the cards. So all of my goals are divided up into 6 different categories. We have lifestyle, health and wellness, fitness, content, career, and finance. And one of the things that took the most time in setting up this page, but it was so worth it, is that each of these goals has little individual progress tracker bars. Obviously, progress bars work best on like quantifiable goals, like read 25 books, and they don't work as well on like abstract goals, like build a morning routine, but we're figuring it out. So the way that these progress bars work is if you click on each goal, you've got some information here up at the top, and then down here, each goal is linked to the progress tracker. So for example, this goal is to read 25 books. So I set out 25 little spaces to fill in, and then as I read more books or listen to more audiobooks, I just fill them in here. So we've got the title of the book, the author, the start date, the end date, and then my rating. I talk about all of these books in my monthly reset vlogs. I have a segment called Book Club. If you guys want to join Book Club, go check out any of my previous monthly reset vlogs. I also have my Goodreads linked down in the description if you want to be friends on Goodreads. I approve all of my friend requests. So Book Club is really fun. But the way the progress tracker works is with this little checkbox over here on the side. So once I finish a book, I just check it off, and the progress bar goes up a little bit until I have checked off all 25, and it will be at 100%. So each of these goals works the same way, where they all have those little progress bars, and they've all got little milestones in there that you can check off as you achieve them, which obviously will move the progress bar forward. I'm just a big goals person. I find them really motivating, and I love being able to visually see the progress that I've made on each of these goals. So I love having those little progress bars on each of these goals. I just find it so motivating and so inspiring to like continue working towards my goals and get all of those progress bars up to 100%. So that's it for my life admin pages. Lastly, we will go through my content planner. Again, we kind of already went through this on my admin dashboard page, so we'll just go through this quickly. But this content planner is another spread that I use quite literally every single day. Even though I have a full-time corporate job, like a 9-to-5 office job, I still consider YouTube and content creation a full-time job on the side. And I love using this spread to plan out my content and make sure that I'm staying on track with everything. Whether or not I actually stay on track with everything remains to be seen, but at least with this content planner, I can pretend. So first up in the content planner, we have my calendar. Again, this links back to my admin dashboard calendar. So in here, this is where I can see all of my content for YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I am pretty decent at posting regularly on YouTube, but I am still trying to get in the hang of posting regularly on Instagram and TikTok, so hang in there. Both of those accounts are linked in the description if you guys are interested in following me while I try and post more on those platforms. So we have this in calendar form, which makes it really easy to visually see like what days of the week I'm posting everything. And you can see each video has a couple different things attached to it. So obviously it's got the title. The emoji at the start of the title tells me what type of content it is. If it's a YouTube video, it's got that old-timey like video film camera. If it's for Instagram or TikTok, it's got the little phone emoji. Underneath the title, it'll tell me what platform I'll be posting on. So we've got either YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. That's for short form content. Underneath, we have the status of each video. So whether I'm filming it, editing it, whether it's been posted, or if it's just an idea that I had. And then if there is a sponsor for the video, I also have that linked on there, because most of the time the brand will ask you to submit it a couple of weeks in advance for review. So it helps me with planning out if I know like, okay, I have a sponsored video that needs to go live in the beginning of the month, so I need to film that 2 weeks in advance to make sure I have enough time to edit and submit it to the brand for approval. But if we actually click on one of these videos, it will kind of give you a more in-depth version of what we just talked about. So let's click on my Notion tour. So up here is that little emoji that I was talking about. Obviously we have the title. At the top, we've got a bunch of tags. So this is tagged as part of my content calendar. Again, this is technically part of that major like master database that we talked about at the beginning, but It's filtered to be on my content calendar. It's for the month of March. It's going on the YouTube platform. Current status is filming. I am filming it on March 8th and I am posting it on March 9th. Any notes and details I would put in here. This video is not sponsored, so there's no sponsor listed. Again, it's not sponsored, so there's no amount that I'm being paid for this video. And I haven't at the time, currently, obviously, I'm still filming this, so I haven't posted it yet, so this box is not checked. If we scroll down to the bottom, I've got a couple little things here. Down here, I will put the actual title of the video for YouTube. Any notes that I want to make while I'm editing, if there's something that I need to like go back and fix in editing, I'll make a note of that here. And if there's anything that I need to link in the description of this video, I will also make a note of that here. Just so when it comes time for me to actually upload the video, I have all the information that I need right here, easily accessible. This is the kind of stuff that I love using Notion for. It just makes it so much easier and it kind of like streamlines the process so that I don't have to keep all of this information in my brain. I can actually have it here on Notion and there's no chance that I'm gonna like forget anything accidentally. It just makes it so much easier. I also have all of this same information over here in table format. I have one table specifically for YouTube, like long form content, one table for short form content, including like photos and Instagram posts. So that is the basic gist of the content planner. I will try and do this about once a month, about a month in advance. So pretty soon I'm gonna start going in and forming my content calendar for April. If we scroll down past the calendar, we've got another couple of databases. First up, I have a list of all of my Chefing with Charlotte episodes. This is basically just to help me keep track of what my score is because most of the time it's a couple of weeks in between episodes and I forget what my tally is. Down below that, I have a database for all of my brand deals. This is basically just to help me stay on track, make sure that I'm not missing any deadlines. And underneath that, I have an older list of TikTok and Reel ideas. TikTok and Instagram, again, is one of those things that I always mean to do more of, but I frequently forget. But that is the content planner. This is one of my oldest spreads. Like this was one of the spreads that I first made when I first started using Notion. So this one is always kind of nostalgic for me to go back and look at. I have had this quote on here since college. If you're an OG, you might remember I used to have this quote up on a whiteboard in my college apartment. It says, "And remember, big things happen not all at once, but one step at a time." I just love that quote so much. I think it's so meaningful and it's such an important thing to remember. So that is the content planner and that is the final spread that I have to show you guys. Again, all the templates for all of these spreads are down in the description. They are free to download. I worked really hard on these Notion pages and I really hope you guys enjoy them because I know I find them very, very useful and very helpful. So I hope that you guys do as well. Notion is just such a wonderful app. Like I said in the beginning, I use it literally every single day for many, if not all aspects of my life. And I just find it so, so helpful and honestly really fun to work on. I am so glad to have finally gotten this Notion tour out for you guys. I have been working on it literally since the beginning of the year, so it has been quite a while. This video has been several months in the making, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it for me down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We are almost at 50K, which is so exciting, and I cannot wait to hit that milestone because we are coming up at the end of this month on my 5-year channel anniversary, which is so crazy to think about. So I would love to have you guys join the family while we celebrate that milestone. If you guys use these templates, make sure to tag me if you post anything. I would love to see how you customize them and make them your own. But that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so, so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.